Even if we received one question, thank you. I would like to say thank you for all of you for coming, and then I will have the secretary say a couple of things for a couple of seconds before we close.
I want membership.
Yeah, we'll vote for the good guys.
Major current 2019 elections. Ki dumela gore moletsa lo grade moletsa o heletse moletsa o straight ha o jigaji ka ma Afrika borwa a re lo magane ka re tshwane ka mabogo ena re dumelaneng e ka khona go diragala ga re dira mabogo. Yes, it will be done.
Protocol, the president will leave first, and then the premier, and then the minister.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Can we give them another round of applause? Okay, thank you so much. We are now going to watch just a few clips on the screen. And after that, I will invite on stage Mr. Nana to facilitate and to perhaps speak on what transpired today, and also to take us through the voting. All the premiers and the president will be voted for, and the results will be announced. Thank you so much.
Right, so before we watch the two ads, there's just two ads that I want us to look at. The first one was by the ANC in 2016. This is just to show you what we as a DA are actually competing against. And then the second one speaks more specifically on delivering a speech. You know, when you have an opportunity to speak to people, however big they are, however big the group is, that video is going to show you exactly how you go about speaking to people emotionally. Because as much as you have all this information, you know, you've done your research, you know that the Orange River is crossing through Northern Cape and all of that, but the people you are talking to, actually listening, are they relating to the fact that we have Orange River crossing through our province, and there's something that can be done that can actually change our lives. Yeah?
Remember when we started? When we voted for the very first time? When we put Batsubili and went back to basics? Do you remember when Ugogo packed away the candles for the last time and the lights came on? Driving on that new tarred road, receiving that RDP home, that government bursary. Remember getting that first job, and when women reached for the skies. Remember our long walk to freedom. Remember Madiba, Tamba, Sisu, and Umamui. Remember us and why we first voted. more still needs to be done. Vote ANC.
Yes, kid.
Now, this following ad, on the night of the elections in 2008, Obama had a rally, and he was asking people or speaking to people who actually volunteered during the campaign. And if ever you want people to follow you, you have to inspire them. And that's one thing that was great about Obama, is that he knew how to inspire people. His message was not that great, but he knew how to speak to people's emotions. And perhaps in South Africa, in its entirety, when it comes to the political landscape of South Africa, we do not know how to speak to voters emotively. And that's something we want to achieve as a DA. It's going to take us some time. Because if ever you're looking at the ANC's ad, the ad was directed to black people, not anyone else. But you would see now and then snippets of colored people and white people, Indian, because they are trying to be politically correct. But that ad specifically, the ANC had a target market for the ad. They're not talking to anyone else but black people. And if you're a black person and you know what the ANC is talking about, you'd actually listen to what they're saying. And they're going to come up with those things from tomorrow. When they launch their campaign tomorrow, they're going to come up with those things. And it's not going to be easy for us, because we are fighting against history. The ANC is forcing us to fight against history. But the best way is for us to fight with history. And that's what Moses is trying to do. Let's address and redress history. Let's make sure that when we wake up tomorrow, whatever happened yesterday has been fixed. So I just wanted to show you a few challenges that we're facing, guys. Nothing is easy. I agree.
I will never forget who this victory truly belongs to. It belongs to you. It belongs to you. I was never the likeliest candidate for this office. We didn't start with much money or many endorsements. Our campaign was not hatched in the halls of Washington. It began in the backyards of Des Moines, in the living rooms of Concord, in the front porches of Charleston. It grew strength from the young people who rejected the myth of their generation's apathy. It drew strength from the not-so-young people who braved the bitter cold and scorching heat to knock on doors of perfect strangers. You did it because you understand the enormity of the task that lies ahead. This victory alone is not the change we seek. It is only the chance for us to make that change. And that cannot happen if we go back to the way things were. It can't happen without you, without a new spirit of service, a new spirit of sacrifice. For even as we celebrate tonight, we know the challenges that tomorrow will bring are the greatest of our lifetime. There's new jobs to be created, new schools to build, and threats to meet, alliances to repair. The road ahead will be long, the climb will be steep. We may not get there in 1 year or even in one term. But America, I have never been more hopeful than I am tonight that we will get there. I promise you, we as a people will get there. America, we have come so far. We have seen so much, but there's so much more to do.
Okay. Sometimes you have to take a moment and be inspired by others.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to talk on
I have a piece.
the launches that we just had. But not here again to thank anyone, guys. This is our VLS session. So if you're used to look at you come and say, yo guys, thank you. No. Today, that's not my role. And I want to talk about the scrutiny. Yeah? Okay. The first group. What was your team's name then? Liberation Movement. And I picked up that there's a breakaway faction. Yeah? So who needs to go back home? Okay, let's go back home. I think so because both campaigns actually, they were more or less the same. You know? It was just different people, but if we can come together, maybe it might come up with something.
They should come join.
Yeah. Now, I've picked this up as a catchphrase, né? And perhaps the group itself didn't realize that this is something that they could use to their advantage, which is Arieng. Now, let's talk about Arieng. Doesn't Arieng mean? Ne? So it's an invitation, right? We're inviting people. Firstly, you say, "This is what I'm offering, and I want you to believe in it." And then you make the call. You invite them to say, "Let's go, Arieng." But when it comes to the TV ad, Arieng was just there in between. So much that I even when I spoke to Avile about the video before this session, we agreed that part where Arieng was said should have been the closing. That should have been the end of the ad. To a certain extent that people clapped when Kwashlai was at Arieng. But we realized that there were two more that were still coming after here. And then we didn't understand, like, you know, so where is this going? Because at that moment, when Kwashlai was said Arieng, Tina, we already wanted to believe. We didn't want to hear anything after that. We wanted to hear Arieng, we are going. And that's why we clapped hands. But then we're like, boy, still more. And now you're giving people another chance to actually think about it. You've already caught them. You've already caught them, and then you, 2 slides of the ad, and then you lost us. So, when it comes to sending out a message, you need to know what the loop is. If the loop is in your offer, you need to know what that loop is. If you're going to use a slogan as a loop, you need to know what slogan to use. I can tell you now, for the Liberation Movement, Arieng was your loop. Even if your offers are not that strong, the mere fact that you have a call, you're inviting people to join you, that was enough. At least during that ad. And then on the posters, again, Arieng is right at the bottom. The prominent word is vote. The word that attracts people is vote. And I can tell you now, the picture doesn't matter. Whoever is on that picture doesn't matter. Because vote is what is attracting people. And you're not going to win votes by asking people to vote. You need to give people something to believe in so that they can go vote. And then you made a big mistake. I was asked this question, and I said yes on purpose. But can we bring our presidential candidate just in between to speak on whatever he was going to speak on. And I said, yes. And the program says that the presidential candidate has been allocated time during the program to speak more on the offers. And the candidate spent all that time speaking on one offer, which is education. And the more he spoke on that offer, the more questions the media had. And then it became about that one offer. The entire launch became about one offer. Because you gave us an opportunity to scrutinize what you're talking about. But I want to commend you on the direction of the speech. What was your slogan, whatever? You spoke something about yes. And in your speech, you actually showed or you highlighted why there was a need for change. For that, I commend you. But you didn't have anything to back it up. It felt like you were just telling us things that are not going to happen. Because when it comes to the offers, we didn't see anything. Yeah, we know you want to talk about land, but what about land? So where is this change that you have been promised? And then, what is the second group? The African Liberation Movement. That's the group that spoke about equalizing the education system.
Yeah.
When was it Secretary General? When she was speaking on this offer, it felt like you were speaking to one group and saying to the other group, just wait when I got your chance. Was it about black people this, white schools that? Black schools this, white schools that. And that's where you lose people. Because I can tell you now, if you want to speak about equalizing the educational system, you're not only speaking to black people. In fact, if ever you understand the climate in South Africa, black people is seen only as one group. But what about colored people? Have you gone as far as a party, have you gone as far as saying, we see black people as colored people, as black people as Indian people? But if ever you haven't done that, whoever's listening to you saying, oh, okay, I see. It's like IFP. I know some guys don't like me saying this. The guys IFP speaks only to the Zulu nation. That's why they're not growing. And in you trying to equalize or wanting to equalize the educational system, you needed to show the injustices. Like if you say, the example I made, a cricket field for instance. Like, how many public schools actually have cricket fields? I'm just going to make an example. But then you need to draw the problem. Because not every parent sees the importance of having a cricket field. So no, there are no, this school has tablets for every child. This school doesn't have tablets. And then there's a parent who says, no, these kids don't need tablets, man. So what is the issue that you're trying to bring here? If you look at our current national cricket team, there's a race issue there. And not just for black people, for every other race but white. So you now have to allow people to see the problem. You start from, because these kids don't have the opportunity back at school, they will never get there. We will always cry foul if there's no foundation. You speak on the number of kids in one class. the ratio between school kids and teacher. You then speak on the previously more than 6 schools. Even now, as much as they are under government, they're regarded now as semi-public schools, right? And they're not using the word semi, just J. It talks about the opportunities that are available in that school compared to the ones that are seen as public schools. You're saying semi, trying to move away from this word of private school, making it sound fancy. But in actual fact, it speaks to the opportunities that are available to each and every child at that school. If it's semi, that means number one, there are less kids in one class. So the ratio between teacher and children is less compared to a straight public school. You need to say that. Why are you saying that? What is the impact of having 50 kids in one class being taught by one teacher compared to having only 20 kids being taught by one teacher? No? Sure. Only then people are going to understand what you are saying. They know all these things. They know they happen, but they don't know how it impacts them. They don't know how it impacts their children. And then safety. What was your target? What is your target voter base? I didn't pick it up. Just tell me J1.
Women and children.
Is that
Children and women.
No.
For safety.
Not for voting.
no, the voter pack. So it's women and children.
Yeah.
Children as in youth.
Listen, guys. So it's women and children. No? And for you to speak to children, you need to speak to the parents first. You need to speak to their cousins. You need to speak to the uncles and aunts, right? But the children do not vote. So at the end of the day, number one, they were not even listening to you. No? Number two, they're not going to vote. But that doesn't mean you cannot speak to issues affecting children. But you need to ask yourself, who am I relaying this message to that is going to go and vote tomorrow? Speaking to women, the mothers, the aunts of these kids. No? Sure. Speak on safety. What are you saying about the safety of children? You're talking specifically about children, but you know who you're talking to. You know who you want to listen. I missed that. And in you talking about safety, you need to touch on the problems that SAPS is facing currently.